Yo, what up, everybody? My name is Trickster Shadow, and today I'm breaking away from my typical Dead by Daylight content, and I just kind of wanted to sit here and show off a game that is going to be coming out that is a competitor to Dead by Daylight in the 4v1 genre, which is PropNight. Now, their beta, they had about a week ago as the time of this recording, and I haven't had time to record a video of me talking about the game and kind of going overview of it and how it works and my thoughts on it. So finally, I had time and I thought I'd do that. And so basically, how this game works is it is literally just Dead by Daylight, but prop hunt. That's just the easiest way to describe it. I'm sure the devs don't like me saying that, but that's just the easiest way to describe it. You have 5 objectives, which in this video you can see there's 5 little circles. The gray circles indicate how many objectives are done, and so them being gray means that there's no objectives done. They fill in with white every time a generator gets done or prop machine gets done. This game has, at least on release, it looks like it has 4 survivors, I believe, and it has 3 killers, 3 monsters, and the basic gameplay loop is each survivor has a different item that they spawn with. Some survivors spawn in with medkits. Some survivors spawn in with cameras, which cameras are essentially the game's equivalent to flashlights and DBD, which you can use if you flashlight a killer, it'll stun them, and or if you camera a killer, it'll stun them, or if they're carrying somebody and you camera them, then they'll drop the person that they're carrying, so on and so forth. And the way that you get items in the game, besides playing a character that brings in that particular item, is you get coins. Now, you get coins by doing prop machines, like you'd see while I was doing this. Every time I hit a skill check, I would get coins out of it. And then also, when this prop machine gets finished being done, it'll shoot out coins as well. And then if I get 1,000 coins, then I can transfer those coins into a chest, which I'm passing right now, but I don't have 1,000 coins, so I can't do anything with it right now. I can transfer those 1,000 coins into a randomly generated item. I can get pretty much anything. It's kind of random, and there's rarities associated. Sometimes you'll get a item that is a common rarity and it's just not very good. Sometimes you'll get a legendary rarity and it'll have like a lot of uses to, like medkit, for example, or if it's a camera, instead of it being depleted and destroying itself after use, it'll go on a cooldown instead. And so there's different rarities. So if you get lucky, then you can get a really good item and that can help you for the rest of the game, or you can get just a common one and that'll help you, still help you, but it won't help you as much as like a legendary one will. Now, as you can see, me going after this person on a chair, this is essentially the game's equivalent of hooks. Works the exact same as Dead by Daylight. Here you can see, because I saved them, I got some coins, and then I ended up getting a book. This book, if I read it, it makes me invisible and I get a speed boost. But yeah, this game essentially has the same like hook system as Dead by Daylight, to where 3 hooks. Thank you, Bytes. 3 hooks, and then somebody is dead. They're out of the game. If somebody stays in the chair for too long, then they will progress into the next hook stage, and they'll die faster if they if they tick into like the second stage. The next time they get unhooked, they'll die instead of the 3 hooks. And yeah, one thing that's also pretty cool is slugging in this game is very much so de-incentivized. If you're slugged in this game, you can just pick yourself back up, which I think is pretty cool. If the killer tries to slug everybody out, they just can't do it, because slugging is kind of boring. And also very cool, when you're on the chair, when you're on the hook, you can spectate all the other players, which is a very good quality of life feature. Just you can see everybody else and see what they're doing. One thing about this game that I should say, very big part of it, is that this game has a voice system built in. So it's not proximity based. It's map wide. Everybody can hear each other at all times. And by everybody, I also mean the killer. The funny thing about this game, and I don't know if this is going to launch like this, but even the killer can hear the voice chat. And so it makes it very interesting, the dynamic of like saying, oh, like, be careful, the like the killer is camping, because the killer can hear that. Or if you say like, "Oh, I'm going for the save," the killer can hear you saying that you're going to go for the save, and so the killer's just going to go back. And so you got to be very careful with the information that you give. Really, the only information that you can give is like the killer moving, like wherever the killer is. So like a majority of the comms that I had in the games that I played that people gave were like, okay, the killer is like in the barn, or the killer is like in the middle of the map, stuff like that, because that information doesn't really stand to benefit the killer because the killer knows where they are. It only stands to benefit all the survivors that are in the game. As you can see, somebody became a scarecrow. And as far as like the prop mechanics work, you can become really most things in the game, uh, and there very little RNG, if any, in terms of like the prop placements. So if you learn the placements of objects, you can become pretty good with being able to evade the killer, because then you can know like, oh, if I round this corner, then there's going to be like this little small object, and I'm going to be able to hide a little bit faster. Of course, if you're a small object, you have less health, and the killer can kill you easier because it'll just take only one hit in order to down you. If you're a huge object, it's easier to hit you, but you have more health. And then one thing that's kind of interesting with this game is that when you're a prop, you can actually stun the killer by essentially Goomba stomping him. If you just fly up to the top of their head and then come back down, then you will Goomba stomp them. And that's incredibly interesting, but it's very janky, if I'm going to be real. Like the actual positioning of trying to stun the killer is very hard to do. And like it's very hard to pull off because a lot of times you'll get hit. I stunned the killer a lot of times in this beta and then got hit while I stunned them, and it kind of feels similar to like throwing down a pallet in DBD and then getting hit through the pallet. That kind of sucks. Besides that, the killers that are in the game, there's 3 different killers in this match. I'm playing against the imposter. His killer's look is probably going to change because he looks very similar to a Crypt TV horror villain, and so they're probably going to change how he looks. But this character, essentially, he has all the powers of the survivors. He can also turn into props. He can also turn into a survivor. One of the survivors that's in the game, he'll have your name, so he can like look like he's Trickster Shadow, look exactly like my character, and he can run around like that. And then he can also snap, and if he snaps, it makes it to where all the gens explode, and if anybody is working on a gen that explodes, their aura is revealed. That's his three powers, 3 perks. And it seems like all killers just have 3 default perks. It doesn't look like there's a perk mechanic, but of course it's only the beta. Could change. And then besides the imposter, there's also the granny, which the granny is very similar to like the huntress in Dead by Daylight. She has knives. She throws the knives, injures people from afar. She also has ghost knives where she can set them up, and she can set 2 up at a time. Essentially, they just hang out wherever she set them, and if survivor comes across them, they'll get automatically hit by the knife. Then there's also the banshee, which is essentially like a nun. She's kind of like the spirit, I guess, in Dead by Daylight. Oh, here's the stunning mechanic that I was talking about. But the nun, essentially like the spirit, she can fly and like phase walk, and she can like go up to the top of the sky. There it is, stunning. And she can try to get information by like flying around the map. She can also curse generators. I think it was her that can curse generators. It's either her or Granny. And yeah, I forget what her other ability is. Oh yeah, she can also yell. The banshee can yell, and if she yells in a certain direction, it'll reveal the aura of anybody, even if they're in a prop, and it'll also damage them. And so yeah, their killers are pretty basic, but they're pretty fun in my opinion. In my opinion, I think the killer that's the strongest is probably the imposter because he has the movement speed of a survivor. Because you can make it to where some props, okay, the example of me stunning and getting hit at the same time, you can make it to where some props can help you move across the map very quickly, especially if you know how to move with the props, while also having the stealth mechanic of people not knowing, like, oh, is that person like dangerous or are they good? Guy hit me on hook. Uh, and so he's very powerful. But the granny is also very powerful as well because I've had instances to where I set down 2 knives at a chair just to see if I could do it, and then the person that comes for the save just gets insta downed because they get hit by 2 knives and they don't have a lot of health. And so there is some balancing issues. It does seem like the devs haven't really considered how to counter just tunneling off hook, because there is no decisive strike in this game. There's no borrow time or anything, nothing like built in. And so the killer could literally just stay by the hook or wait until somebody comes in for the save and then just down the person that got saved and then immediately hook them again. And so that's something that really needs to be addressed. In terms of the maps, there was only 2 maps in the beta. For majority of the beta, it was this farm map, but there also was a game, or there was a map that was released, the house, and I feel like the house is a lot more interesting. I don't know if I have any gameplay of the house. Let me see. I may not. Not right here. No, I don't. But the house was pretty good, in my opinion. I think the house is actually better than this, just because it had a lot of corridors, a lot of corners. This is the Banshee that I'm playing right here. A lot of corridors and corners that you could like go around and then be able to hide. And it lent itself a lot more to prop hunt, in my opinion. This map being as open as it is, so you can see me flying, feel like it's not as good for survivors, but it's my opinion. Of course, you can see like when you start hitting a prop. It's just so wacky seeing things fly around. When you start hitting a prop, it starts breaking apart. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it in terms of the game. I feel like the game it's not crazily unbalanced, but I do feel like there's some balancing concerns with this game. Really, the only thing I didn't address is you can see to the right, there's a door that's closed. That's essentially like pallets, where if the door is closed, then you can break the door. If somebody closes the door in your face or opens the door in your face, you get stunned by it. And that's really it in terms of like gameplay mechanics. There is some like BS things, like right here, there's a survivor that's under this table, and I can't do anything against him besides just yell with my Banshee scream. And even that, it only takes away a certain amount of health every time. And so there's certain BS spots that need to be addressed. But for a beta, I think this is pretty good. Now, do I think that this game is going to survive? Is the question. No, I well, it depends. If this game is priced any more than like $10 or $15, I could see it dying. I don't think this game is worth more than $15. I think $15 is even pushing it. And especially when you consider this game is entering into an already like monopolized market, which is 4v1, which is monopolized by DBD, is very hard to get people to shy away from DBD and play something besides DBD when they already have so much time and money invested into Dead by Daylight. And so if you have even a 1-inch hurdle of it, the game being worth like $5-10, a lot of people won't even try it out. I think this game is fun. I think this game is really fun. I think the voice comms, especially the killer being able to hear it, lends itself to a really fun time. I know a lot of people don't like voice comms, or they have issues with it because people harass them, which that's very unfortunate. So this game may not be for you, which is very sad. But you can play the game without voice comms. I played actually a couple of games where I just muted everybody, and the experience was still really fun. In fact, like I found myself just like muting people just because they were annoying. Like it's kind of funny because like I had a match to where somebody got on hook, and within 10 seconds of them being on hook, they're like, "Nobody's coming to save me. I guess I die. I guess all the survivors are shit in this match." And it's like, oh my god, could you imagine like this in Dead by Daylight, like somebody being on hook and just immediately complaining? But yeah, like you can mute everything if you want to. But I feel like the voice comms, like the way that it's implemented, where even the killer can hear it, is pretty funny, and it lends itself to pretty interesting situations. But again, if this game is any more than like $5-10, even like $15, I feel like it's pushing it too much. I feel like this game is not going to do well. But if anything, when this game comes out at the end of November, wow, I just missed that entirely. Do you guys see that? There's a can that just like floated under my feet. I didn't even see that. But as soon as this game comes out, November, it's probably going to survive at minimum a couple weeks. It'll be a fun play. I'll probably play it a lot on my stream. I may put out some more videos. I plan to put out videos after this one of me just like playing the game so you guys can see more gameplay. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about the game, feel free to ask me in the comment section down below. Be sure to check it out. PropNight. And I hope that it's good, because really, I just want any competitor to Dead by Daylight. I'm very excited about this. I'm very excited about VHS. I think VHS has a little bit better of a chance because VHS is going to be free to play. And also, I kind of feel like I should do a video on VHS. I haven't done any videos on VHS just simply because I can't put anything out. But if you guys want me to like One thing I've been considering on doing, besides just of course like commentating over a match and like saying how the game works, I kind of want to do a video about like all the information we currently know, like condensing it all down into like maybe like a 5-10 minute video of everything that we know about the game so that people can be excited, because there's a lot of videos that are like an hour long of the devs talking, and I feel like a lot of people aren't getting that information just because of how long the videos are. So I kind of want to condense that down, so that's something that I may do. But other than that, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Have a good rest of your day, night, or whatever. Bye bye.